Alright guys, so the last few weeks I've been writing a few different pieces. I wrote an article for a magazine and a couple of letters, and what I was talking about a lot in these was confidence. So I thought I'd make this week's video about that. Confidence for me was a massive part of my journey to overcoming my struggles, and let me explain why this is. It's because it gave me the confidence to know that I can actually do something about my struggles. I can actually overcome them. Okay, so what I want to try and explain to you guys is what I used to build my confidence. What I did was, firstly, I built my confidence in my ability. Basically meaning I built my skill set. And then this automatically would build my self-confidence. I went out into the wild, into the woods, and I would learn new skills, master new skills, and then that built my self-confidence. So what I want to try and inspire you guys to do is find your passion. What it is that you love, and what environment do you love being in? For me, this is the outdoors, expedition, survival, the wilderness, that kind of things. What I want you guys to do is go out into that environment, do whatever it is you love to do, master new skills, learn new skills, become better at it, and build your confidence in your ability, and then build your confidence in yourself through that, okay? That's what I do, and that's what we're going to be doing today. So, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be learning a new outdoor survival wild wilderness kind of skill, okay, and that is navigation. Now, I've done a bit of this before when I went away on my expedition to Scotland in the summer, but I definitely would not sound confident in it. So, got my map, got my compass, let's give this a go. So, the map I've got is an OS map, and it is of the Lake District, and I do live in East Sussex. But that doesn't matter. What we're going to be doing is we're just going to be learning to understand the map, read maps, take bearings, use a compass with the map, and stuff like that. So, what I'm going to do is go grab my phone, and we are going to try and find some resources to learn how to use these things. Right, I'm in my garden, so the Wi-Fi could be pretty temperamental. Come on, get a signal. Connecting. Oh, connected. Bingo, there we go. Right, let's go YouTube. If you want to learn something, YouTube it. Oh, this one looks good. Learn to map breed with Steve Backshall. Loading.
1 to 25,000, which means that for every 4 centimeters on the map, you have a kilometer on the ground in real life.
So this is Explorer map, which in that video, Steve Backshall was just saying. So an Explorer map is, the scale of it is 1 to 25,000, which means for, where is it? You see these like blue lines on your map, so they're 4 centimeters squared, okay, and so 4 centimeters on this map equals a kilometer. So another really great resource I've just found out about is, so the maps I'm using, OS or Ordnance Survey, really well known maps. They have this mobile app called OS Locate. It's free, you could just download it on your phone, and I don't think you need Wi-Fi or anything like that to use it. And it's got all of these like PDF files on information about like map reading and compasses and stuff. They've got a 66-page one called Helping You with Map Reading. Seems really good. It covers loads of different information. It's brilliant. Right, I'm gonna have a little read through this. I think it's got loads of stuff on it. So grid lines, grid references, reading contours, using your compass. Oh wow, tons of different things. Brilliant. Right, it looks like it's about to chuck it down, so I need to pack it up and move somewhere sheltered. All fun and games. So it's absolutely chucking it down outside. I was happy to stay outside under trees, but the water was still coming in and my camera's not waterproof, so I had to come inside. But I've got my map out. And I spend a bit more time reading on the OS Locate app, and I was reading all about grid lines. Okay, so the grid lines are these really faint blue lines that run along your map. Cross it like this, and then kind of up and down it like this. And they're numbered. So the bottom ones are called your eastings. So these are the ones that the numbers run east, and then you have your northings, which run up towards the north there, okay, and that's going to be really helpful when we start to learn about using grid references. But we're not going to be learning about that right now, because there's another thing that I was reading about maps, and that is contour lines. So obviously a map is just 2D, so a flat piece of paper. So how do we kind of understand where the mountain kind of comes up and then maybe there's a valley? How do we understand that? Because that would probably be quite helpful when we're navigating. And this is where contour lines comes in. Contour lines basically help us imagine a map in 3D. Okay, so contour lines are these kind of brown or orange lines that you're going to see covering your map, okay? And this is basically helping us to indicate what our map looks like in 3D, kind of what is the kind of lie of the land. And another thing about contour lines is you might be looking, I kind of roughly get the idea of what it looks like, this mountain or whatever, but I don't really know how steep it is. Is it steep? And this is where contour lines are really cool, is the closer they are together, it means the steeper they are. So if you see like a really small bit with like tons and tons and tons of contour lines, it means it's going to be super steep. But if you see them kind of more spread out, it means it's going to be less steep. So that's a really helpful, and that helps you visualize it as much better. So here is a really good example of where you can kind of see the contour lines are really close together. And then let's find, you go over here, zoom in, and you can kind of see they're less kind of spread out, which means it's going to be a lot less steep. I feel like I'm starting to get the hang of this, you know? I feel like I'm really starting to understand map reading. It's pretty good. Okay guys, that's it for today, and even just one day in, I'm definitely feeling much more confident about understanding how to read a map, knowing what the symbols are, the contour lines, the grid lines, stuff like that, understanding all of how they work. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to start to look at grid references, bearings, and start, using the compass with the map. So, see you tomorrow, guys. Alright guys, so it's day 2 of learning about navigation. Okay, so yesterday we were just learning about the map, and I think today we're going to start to learn about how to use the compass alongside the map, alright? Still not great weather, but I've managed to get outside, which I'm really happy about. I'm not doing this inside. So, last night and a bit of this morning, I kind of watched a few more YouTube videos, read some more bits, and I think I've got a bit of an idea, but I don't want to speak too soon, because I've actually got to try and do it now. So, see how this goes. So, first thing that I had been learning about today is grid references. So yesterday we were learning about the grid lines, the little faint blue lines that are covering our maps. So grid references is basically just to tell us kind of like what square we're in. So you can look at a map and using the eastings and the northings, we can then kind of tell what square, and then we can even go into like what part of the square we're in. So that's what I was learning about, and I'm going to have to try it and give it a go now. So we actually used grid references on my expedition. So basically, before we left base camp to head out to kind of into the mountains, we had to do a route plan, and each had to tell them each night where we were going to be spending the night, and we had to give them the grid references. So basically, if anything went wrong, they'd have a rough idea of where to find us. So that was actually my job, and it was given to me to find the grid references. So I can kind of remember it, but not really. So what I'm going to do is I found a really nice kind of bit of woodland here, which I might spend the night in, I might camp. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try and find the grid reference. First off, I'm just going to find the grid reference of that square. So that's a square kilometre. So first of all, we need to find the easting. So what we're going to do is follow blue line down. We get to 27, okay? So we know that's going to be 27. And then we're going to go along to find the northing, and that's 12, okay? So the grid reference for that square kilometre is going to be 2712. Okay, that's helpful to know. But, however, that is only the square kilometre, okay? It's quite a big area, so we want to try and narrow it down into an even smaller area. And this is where we're going to learn how to do a 6-digit reference, grid reference. Okay, so we just found a square kilometre, but that little piece of forest that I want to actually find the grid reference for, it's only a small part of that kilometre, okay? So what we need to do is we need to try and find the grid reference for that little bit of woodland, okay? So, on your compass, you've got these different scales. So they almost look like a kind of like a ruler. So it goes up there and across there, and then you've got it on the inside as well, there and there. Okay, so this one on the outside is 125, 1,000 scale for your map. And then what you want to do is you want to put this point, okay, on whatever it is, whatever point that you want to find. So for me, it's going to be that little bit of woodland. Then you're going to read your eastings, which go up, and then you're going to read your northings, which go across, okay? And then that's going to give you just a 1-digit answer. So for me, it'll be 27, and then the number for the eastings, and then it'll be 12. Oh, the map's blowing away. And then it'll be 12, and then another number for the northings. So let's see if I can find that out. But first of all, I need to pick my map off, which is just blown all over the place. It's windy out here today. Okay, so here's my little bit of woods. We're going to line this corner up here with the woods. Nice bit of camping ground there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make sure these lines are lined up with your grid lines. And then what we're going to do is we're getting our reading. So for the eastings, we've got our 27th over here, and then the added number is 9. So we've got 27, 9 for the eastings for this squared. I think it's 100 meters squared, and then we've got 12, 2 for our northings. Okay, so if I was to give that to you, that number, someone wants to give it to me, I could then go along my map to 27, I'd go up 12, and I'd go across. I'd then go that, and then I'd get my my 9, and I'd kind of put that on to 9 there, and then I'd get the 2, go like that, bang, and bingo, you found your spot. Okay, so this is something that's really important that I was learning about with when you're giving a grid reference, okay? So basically the UK is broken into lots of 100 kilometres squared, and each one of them are named with 2 letters, okay? So before you give the grid reference and numbers, you need to give these 2 letters so they know what map basically to look on to find what grid reference you're, okay? And you can find it in the key of your map, or in the corner sometimes you see there. So I think this is an NY. So I'd go NY, and then I'd go what was it, 27, 9, and then 12, 2, and then they'd know exactly what map it was and then what grid it was on the map. So there we go. I think I've kind of got that now. Yeah, it's going well. Okay, so there's one more thing that I've learned, which is going to really help me on this upcoming adventure that I'm going on. Oh, oops. Spoiler alert, I wasn't meant to tell you about that yet. I'll come back to that later, okay? So, this next skill is basically called taking a bearing, okay? What you do is you're going to line your start point and your end point up, okay, on your map, okay? Line them up with your compass. Do some kind of funky twiddling stuff. And then what you can do is you line up the needle, and then what you do is you literally can just walk on your compass, and you should walk in the right direction and eventually hit your end point, okay? That's in theory what you're meant to do, okay? Okay, so what we're going to say is, I'm at this car park here, right? And I want to get to this car park here, okay? But I get out of my car and I'm like, which way do I go, okay? So this is when your bearing could come and help, alright? So what you're going to do is you're going to use the edge of your compass to line the 2 points up. It is really windy. The wind is picking up. Line the 2 points up, and then on the inside of your compass and the little twisty bezelly bit, you've got these lots of different lines, okay? And then there's also an arrow, which we're going to talk about in a minute, alright? So what you want to do is line 2 points up, and then twist it until those lines in your bezel line up with the grid lines, okay? And then what you should be able to do is just take your compass off, and then you're going to turn it until, remember that arrow I was talking about that's inside there with those lines? You want your red needle, which should point north, inside there, okay? And then on the end of your compass here, you've got another arrow. This is called your point direction travel arrow. And then what you want to do is you want to walk in the direction that is pointing, okay? And that, as long as that, they call it red in the shed, so as long as the red is inside that arrow, the red part of the needle is inside the arrow, and you walk in that direction, you should be walking in the right way. That is going to become very helpful on this adventure that I almost told you all about earlier, but I managed to stop myself. So basically, I was going to go and get myself a map of my local area and go and put this all into practice. But I'm actually turning 16 next week, and so for my birthday, me and my dad, we're gonna pack up our rucksacks with kit, and we're gonna do an overnight adventure up on the South Downs. So I thought I'd get a map then, and we could practice it out as we're walking, and try and plot a route, and yeah, try and not get lost basically. So yeah, that's the plan, and yeah, so far we'll see how it goes. Alright guys, I think that's about it now. I've absolutely loved this. I've learnt tons. I think what I'm going to do is now go away and just keep practicing this, keep building my confidence to do these things, okay? All the resources I've used, all the kind of, the app, the videos and stuff, I'll stick down below. Go check them out if you're into the survival nav and stuff and want to learn that kind of thing. So yeah, but I'm going to see you guys next week on the Downs, as I put it into practice with my dad. We're going to be taking the camera and we're going to be making a film about it. See if we get lost, but hopefully not. Okay, until then guys, bye.